My name is Brandy Koprek, and this is my summary of what I thought was important in Chapter 1. The basic characteristics of all living things are that they carry genetic information encoded by DNA, they reproduce, they maintain homeostasis, they respond to their environment, they use energy and raw materials, and they evolve and have adaptive traits, and they are composed of cells. And this is levels of organization of life. Start out with the molecule, the chemical components of cells, and then we have a cell, the smallest unit of life. Tissue, which is a group of cells that are similar, that perform the same function. And organ, two or more tissues working together to perform a function as one structure. An organ system, which is two or more organs that work together to perform a function. An individual, which is a single organism, a population, all individuals of the same species in an area. Community, which is all the species in an ecosystem that can interact. An ecosystem, which is a community and its physical environment. And a biosphere, the part of the earth that supports life. And then we also have the scientific method. You start with an observation, make an observation and come up with a question about the observation. Then you do your hypothesis, a possible explanation or a possible answer to your question. And then you make a prediction based on your hypothesis. And then you'll have your experiment or your observation, and you try and come up with one that would have a clear result. And then you have your results where you gather all your data and try and organize them together so that you can come up with your conclusion where you find out the outcome of your experiment. And then you might have to go back over a couple steps depending on how your experiment went. And then we have Chapter 2. I thought molecules were important. We have the major ones here, polymer, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, enzymes, DNA and RNA, and ATP. And then we have my breakdown of atoms. They are the basic unit of matter. They consist of subatomic particles, which are called protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons have a positive charge, neutrons have no charge. Elements are made of atoms. We have the atomic mass, which is the number of neutrons plus the number of protons, the atomic number, which is the number of protons, and then there's normally the same number of protons as there are electrons. Isotopes are atoms that have the same number of protons but different numbers of neutrons. And then we have our different types of bonds. We have elements combine and form compounds, and then atoms join to form compounds which create a chemical bond between them. When atoms share electrons, a covalent bond is formed. When atoms have lost or gained electrons, they have an electric charge and are called ions. An oppositely charged attraction between ions is an ionic bond. And then for water bonds, we have a polar covalent bond, or it sometimes is a polar molecule, an unequal sharing of electrons in a covalent bond. And then a hydrogen bond is a pretty weak attractive force between the charged regions of polar molecules. A positive charged hydrogen atom and a negative charged atom create the hydrogen bond. And then we are going to go over acids, base, and buffer. Acids increase the concentration of the hydrogen ions, and bases decrease the concentration. Acid strength is measured on a pH scale, and 7 would be neutral. The scale is from 0 to 14. Normally the lower the pH level, the more acidic it is, and the higher the pH level, the more basic it is. Buffers prevent a dramatic change in pH. And that is my conclusion of what was important in Chapters 1 and 2.